Hello and welcome from the sidelines of the ICR Orlando 2024 conference. I'm Jarrett Banks, editor-at-large of Exec Edge. Joining me is an esteemed guest, President and CEO Bob Wright of Potbelly. Welcome to the program, Bob.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Now, I've been eating at Potbelly for more than 20 years. I'm a fan, but for those who don't know, what is Potbelly?
Yeah, me too, by the way. More than 20 years myself. Fell in love with the brand my first visit. Potbelly's we're a fast casual sandwich-based restaurant concept. We started 47 years ago. Our anniversary, our birthday party will be coming up soon this year for 47 years since the first unit opened. It was started by Peter Hastings in an antique shop in Chicago. It was his desire to say, hey, maybe in addition to selling antiques, if I started selling sandwiches, I could build the business even further. For 20 years, it was one location until the gentleman we call our founder, Bryant Kyle, bought that restaurant from him and expanded it beyond 200 locations to become the Potbelly that we know today. It's really wonderful. I mean, our food is made fresh when you order it. We toast our sandwiches in 500-degree ovens. We have hot soups, homemade salads. Our cookies are the best you can get. I would put our sugar cookie up against any cookie on the planet. It's really the best.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah. And then in an environment that's unique and different and distinct, it's now that you know the antique shop story, if you go into a Potbelly, you kind of get it. You realize that this vibe that we have is this really approachable, comfortable, but a very special experience. We're a 430 unit chain. We are a nationwide company, which is unusual for a company our size. We have shops we call them shops in 33 states, coast to coast, all the way from Seattle and Portland and New York City and Washington, D.C., and all the way from nearly the Canadian border down south to San Antonio in Texas. So what we haven't done is fully penetrated the U.S., and that's one of the things we're super excited about.
Great, we're going to get more into that, but you have a really interesting background yourself. Can you tell me a little bit about your career journey and how you got involved with Potbelly?
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for that comment. I am what a lot of people would describe as an operator. I started out delivering pizzas for Domino's Pizza when I was in college, the summer after my freshman year in college. I spent 12 years with Domino's, fell in love with the business. And I've been a lot of years with them, 16 years with Wendy's in 2 different stints. I left Domino's and went to Wendy's back in the late 90s for 10 years, and a couple of other brands in my gap in Wendy's. My last role at Wendy's, I was the COO, and I oversaw, of course, operations, company and franchise ops. I had international responsibility for all of operations, including marketing, development, and so on. And some other functions that were just wonderful learning and proving grounds: technology, engineering, kitchen innovation, customer experience. So I've had a lot of opportunities to really sink my teeth into new things along the way. I've been blessed by it for sure.
Now, speaking of new things, last year you announced a number of impressive franchise agreements. Can you tell me a little bit more about the growth story and franchising strategy?
Yeah, when I got here in July of 2020, it was the middle of the pandemic, and I thought that the most important things we could focus on would be the core of the brand, the execution at the restaurant level, focusing on the customer, improving value, improving our food overall, and it became our 5-pillar strategy, which we solidified by the end of 2020 and have been operating under ever since. The 5th pillar of that 5-pillar strategy is franchise-focused development. We did have franchisees then. We had about 40 plus franchise units and 24 franchisees. So we love all of them, but the brand hadn't really focused on multi-unit development, territorial assignments, selling multi-unit territories, and so on to drive franchising. So what you've heard us announce over the last year or more has been continued updates on those multi-unit deals. In fact, this morning we announced that to date now we have 192 units that are committed under our franchise development agreements.
Fantastic. Looking ahead, what do you believe will drive revenue over the next 5 years?
It'll be continued same-store sales growth, driven by traffic, which we've been announcing. We've grown our average unit volumes since pre-pandemic levels of below $1 million to finishing 2023 at $1.3 million.
Mm-hmm.
So in a very short period of time, we've expanded that. A lot of that's come from our digital efforts. Approximately 40% of our business comes through digital channels now. Those are people ordering on the app, ordering on the web, and whether they have their food delivered or come pick it up, or they come in and pick it up and still eat it in the shop. That's a big part of our growth. And the unit growth itself actually begets additional growth as well. So as a company, we're going to get growth from our unit expansion. And at the unit level, our franchisees expect the same thing. We continue to lean into our operations efficiencies, the throughput challenges that we've overcome, and our digital business that we present to our customer through our digital channels and our Perks loyalty program are big drivers of traffic. In the announcement this morning, we once again announced that a majority of our sales growth has come from traffic.
Mm-hmm.
That's unusual in this space. The fast casual, we subscribe to data like a lot of folks do, and we buy data from Black Box. So the fast casual segment, with a year or more of recent history, has been flattish in terms of traffic. Good sales growth. QSR has actually been losing traffic. We know that too. We've been gaining traffic. So in a segment that's basically flat, we've been gaining traffic and taking share. So we're very excited about that. We think there's kind of early innings for most of those efforts. So we think there's more room to run for sure.
Okay, where do you see opportunities for your business? We talked a little bit earlier about some Florida expansion plans possibly on the horizon.
Yeah, Florida's been a very busy market for us for our franchising team. Well over 70 units have been sold in Florida, but we've sold development deals all across the U.S. Not been terribly active way out west in California, but we just announced a development deal in Seattle and markets in between, and even more remote markets where franchisees want to build their business where they either already have a business or maybe they've got development experience, or that's simply where their family is and they want to stay. So markets that we would have never invested in. Traditionally, the brand has been weakest in terms of presence in California and in the Southeast. So the gateway to the Southeast is either through Atlanta or Florida. Florida has been more active for us and will grow up and across the rest of that Gulf Coast area from there.
Okay, you mentioned this earlier. Can you tell me a little bit more about the Potbelly Perks program?
Yeah, we're very pleased with and excited about Potbelly and the future of Potbelly Perks. This is it was a traditional kind of earn and burn points program, and at its core, that's still primarily how it functions. But what we've done is all of our digital advertising, when we do a limited time offer sandwich or a limited time offer red velvet cookie at Valentine's Day or something, we point those customers and consumers of that media back to our app and back to Perks to get the best version of that. For example, during the holidays, we did a holiday BOGO. You could buy one, get one free sandwich on one day only as a bit of a customer appreciation day in the middle of all the stress of the holidays, but it was Perks only. And so while we may advertise the BOGO across our media platforms, the advertisement clearly states if you want to take advantage of it, you're going to have to get the app, you're going to have to become a member of Perks. We know that Perks frequency is meaningfully higher than non-Perks members. And so continuing to push people to be aware of and understand the value of Perks means that they join it because they get the best version of whatever it is we're up to through Perks. Plus, we can customize our communication with them. And if you haven't come in a little while, maybe we offer you a little different incentive. If you have a perk, a free sandwich or something that you've earned but haven't redeemed it, we actually don't want that to expire. We want to remind you. And the number one issue with a thinly penetrated brand like ours, even as strong as the brand is awareness can hover a little lower than you want it to, and sort of top of mind awareness and decision making. So what the reason Perks works so well to drive frequency is we push that awareness level up just a little bit and get Potbelly into that list of fast casual restaurants that you might consider when you're thinking about lunch. So as soon as we see that awareness go up with our Perks members, we see the frequency go up with them as well. We mentioned in Q3 that Perks member acquisition was up 60% year over year from the previous year. That's phenomenal growth in acquisition. And once we have the acquisition, we have the ability to nurture those. We also said in Q3, and we'll update those stats for you when Q4 numbers come out, that for the first time for us, more than half of our digital business, that 36, 39, approaching 40% of our digital business is coming through our channels. And we definitely believe that's driven by Perks as well. So people have the opportunity to really take advantage of the best relationship with the company through that program.
All right, exciting stuff. Last question here is a two-parter. Tell us about the underground menu and what's up next for Potbelly in 2024.
Yeah, the underground menu is a great example of the same type of engaging marketing that we do, but we drive it into sort of this area of exclusivity. Customers love this too, because if I've got an exclusive access to something, well, then I must be exclusive. And by the way, you are. And so if you want a Rex salad, the only way to get it is order it off the the underground menu that's only available on the app. The Wrecking Ball is one of our great sandwiches. The Lucky 7, which takes the 4 meats in the Rec and the 4 meats in the Italian and puts them together. One of those meats is the same, so you end up with 7 meats on one sandwich. That's an underground menu sandwich. When we put something on the underground menu, we announce it to everyone, and it immediately becomes one of our top menu item searches across the entire brand, even though it's only available on the app. And so we know that customers are interested in that. Now, I'm not saying it's the number one ordered app, it's the number one menu search. And so it's driving, again, more of that engagement. What's next? I told you it's early innings, so a lot more of the same. We've got more investments in Perks. We've got more investments in our digital platform. We certainly will have more announcements about deals that are signed. In 2024, one of the things that we've been talking about for a couple of years now is this will be the year where we grow units by 10% or more. So building, for us, that's going to be 40 to 45 new locations this year, which will be an amazing year for us. We often get asked, are you still committed to that number? I'm still talking about it, so I'm still committed to it. And I think that we absolutely can do that. So this is a year where we pivot from, really survival early in the pandemic, recovery and stabilization of the brand, to real growth in 2024 and beyond. We're excited.
Okay, we'll leave it there. My thanks to Bob Wright, the president and CEO of Potbelly, which trades on NASDAQ under the ticker PBPB. This is Jarrett Banks signing off from the ICR Orlando 2024 Conference.